Hey guys, this is Mythos Gamer and welcome back for turn 6 of our second game. Before we get started, we're going to go over the investigators real quick. Our first player this turn is going to be Carolyn. She has 4 sanity, 4 stamina, 9 clue tokens, and $4. She has a speed of 3, a sneak of 0, a fight of 3, a will of 2, a lore of 4, and a luck of 3. Carolyn also has 2 toughness worth of monster trophies. Next we have Jenny Barnes. She has 2 stamina, 5 sanity, 2 clue tokens, and $7. Jenny has a speed of 3, a sneak of 1, a fight of 4, a will of 2, a lore of 2, and a luck of 4. She also has 1 gate trophy and 1 monster toughness of monster trophies. Our third investigator, Ashcan Pete, has 6 stamina, 5 sanity, and 3 clue tokens. Ashcan has a speed and sneak of 3, a fight of 5, a will of 2, a lore of 0, and a luck of 3. And finally, Harvey Walters, with 3 stamina, 7 sanity, 2 clue tokens, and $5. He has a speed of 3, a sneak of 2, a fight of 2, a will of 1, a lore of 6, and a luck of 1. And now we're going to start our upkeep phase. As usual, Jenny will gain $1, bringing her up to a total of 8. First, we're going to adjust Harvey's stats. Harvey has some pretty tough spells, so I think we're going to send him after these 2 monsters that are sitting at the French Hill. Right now, he only has a will of 1 and a fight of 2. He does reduce sanity loss though, so I think what we're going to do is not worry about sanity. We're going to increase his fight and will to 3 and 0. Next, we're making an adjustment to Ashcan. Right now we have 4 gates open on the board, which leaves us pretty vulnerable to monster surges. We've got 2 investigators and 2 of the gates, so I think we're going to send Ash to go to one of the other ones and try to close it. The closest one is the City of the Great Race. There is a Chthonian guarding it. It gives +1 to sneak checks. So I think we're going to raise Ashcan's sneak just to improve it even more, and hopefully he can get into the city and close that gate. Right now he has a speed and sneak of 3, and we're going to change that to a speed of 2 and a sneak of 4. Now we're done with our upkeep phase, we're going to our movement phase. Carolyn's in the Great Hall of Salino, so we're just going to move her further in. Jenny is in our lay. Before we move her, we're going to cast a spell. We're going to cast Find Gate with a casting modifier of -1 and a sanity cost of 1. You cast and exhaust to immediately return to Arkham from another world. So Jenny's going to lose 1 sanity, and she has a lore of 2. So we're going to roll 1 die to see if we get a success. We did not. Unfortunately, Jenny is going to take the long way out. Next turn, we can return to Arkham. Ashcan has a speed of 2. We're only going to use 1 movement point this turn. We're going to go from Rivertown to the Black Cave. Because we ended movement with a monster, we're going to have to sneak or fight it. We're going to sneak. Ashcan has a sneak of 4, and the Chthonian gives a +1 to sneak. So Ashcan gets to roll 5 die. No successes. Because the Chthonian is a pretty tough monster and it deals 3 stamina worth of combat damage, we're going to use our Lucky Cigarette Case. You can discard Lucky Cigarette Case to reroll any 1 skill check. And we got a success. He successfully sneaks by the Chthonian. And now for Harvey Walters' movement. He has a movement of 3. He's going to move from the Historical Society to Southside, and then from Southside to the French Hill. Rather than try to sneak by, we're going to fight both these monsters head on. First, we're going to go for the Maniac. Harvey has a fight of 3 and a will of 0. The cultist does not require a horror check, and he gives +1 to combat. Harvey is also going to use his enchanted knife, a magical weapon that gives +3 to combat checks. So with this fight of 3, +3 from the combat knife, and +1 from the Maniac, he's going to roll 7 die. All we need is 1 success. And we got 1 success. And now for combat with the Elder Thing. It has a -3 to horror checks. Harvey has a will of 0. And we're not going to use any clue tokens on this. So normally Harvey would take 2 sanity damage. But because of his ability, Strong Mind, it's reduced by 1. So he will take 1 sanity damage. Now move on to combat. It gives a +0 to combat. Harvey's going to attempt to cast his spell, Dread Curse of Azathoth. Has a casting modifier of -2, costs 2 sanity, and you cast and exhaust it to gain +9 to combat checks until the end of combat. Harvey has a lore of 6. With a -2, we're going to roll 4 die and hopefully succeed at casting this spell. And he got success. Harvey will gain +9 to this combat. With this fight of 3, he'll roll 12 die. I've only got 10 dice, so I'm going to roll 6 first, and then roll 6 again. We need 2 successes total. And we got our 2 on the first roll. So the Elder Thing also dies. Alright, Harvey has cleared out the French Hill. Now we'll move on to the Arkham encounter phase. Alright, first we have Ashcan at the Black Cave. Because there's a gate there, he will get pulled through it and start his trip through the city of the Great Race. Next we have Harvey Walters. He's in the French Hill streets, so he will not have an encounter this turn. And now for the Otherworld encounter phase. Carolyn's in the Great Hall of Salino, so we need a blue or green Otherworld encounter card. Alright, the first one we drew is blue, and it does have Salino on it. That's it. That's the document you need. Quietly you reach for it, try not to disturb its guardian. Make a sneak -2 check. If you pass, search the spell deck and take 1 spell of your choice. If you fail, lose 2 stamina. Right now Carolyn has a sneak rating of 0. She has plenty of clue tokens, but I think we need to hold on to those for the ancient one. So we're going to lose 2 stamina. This will put her from 4 to 2. Next we have Jenny Barnes in Earlay. We need a red or yellow Otherworld encounter card. Alright, the first one we drew is blue, so we're going to draw another one. Alright, the next one we drew is yellow. It does not have Earlay on it, so we have to go with other. Suddenly you notice something that you have previously missed. Gain 1 clue token. That works for me. Jenny now has 3 clue tokens. Our final investigator in the other worlds is Ashcan. We need a green or yellow one for the City of the Great Race. Alright, we drew a yellow one and it has City of the Great Race on it. In a flash of insight, you realize the purpose of the bladed artifact. Shivering, you put it back where you found it. Lose 1 sanity, but gain 1 clue token. I mean, it's not really good to lose 1 sanity, but we will definitely take a clue token. And Ashcan's at 5 sanity, so being at 4 is not so bad. And now we're moving on to our Mythos phase. Alright, our Mythos card says we will have a gate appear at Independence Square. The gate we drew is for another dimension. Right now there is nothing at Independence Square. Because it's a new gate, we'll have to add another Doom token to our Doom track. This will put us at 7 doom counters. Alright, the monster we drew is the Hound of Tindalos, a -1 to sneak, and is a square monster. He has a -2 to horror checks. It does 4 sanity damage, a -1 to combat checks, does 3 combat damage, has 2 toughness and physical immunity. Because he's a green monster, he has a special movement rule. When it moves, the Hound of Tindalos moves directly to the nearest investigator inside the location in Arkham, other than the hospital or the asylum. Here's our Hound at Independence Square and the surrounding areas. Because we drew a Rumor Mythos card, we will not be placing a clue token this turn. For monster movement, we have 3 monsters on the board: a circle, a square, and a triangle. The only one on here now is a triangle. Arkham. Because he's a green monster, he has special movement rules. Instead of moving, roll a die. On a 4 through 6, all investigators in Arkham lose 1 stamina. We rolled a 4. Lucky for us, we only have 1 investigator in Arkham, Harvey Walters. Instead of taking the damage, Harvey's going to use his enchanted jewelry. During any phase, you can put 1 stamina token from the bank on enchanted jewelry to avoid losing 1 stamina. If there are 3 stamina tokens on it, discard enchanted jewelry. Harvey can take 2 more hits before he has to discard this. And now for the text to our rumor. The Southside Strangler strikes. Has the ongoing effect: return 1 ally from the ally deck to the box at random at the end of every Mythos phase, while this card is in play, beginning next turn. The Southside Strangler has struck again. To pass it, if a single player discards 5 clue tokens while in Maul's boarding house during the Arkham encounter phase, return this card to the box. Each player gains $5 as a reward from the police. You fail if there are no allies to return to the box at the end of the Mythos phase. Return this card to the box. Each player must lower either their maximum sanity or stamina, their choice, by 1 for the rest of the game. Wow, that's a pretty powerful effect. We don't have many allies that we've been using, but lowering our sanity and stamina is never a good thing. And it wants us to spend 5 clue tokens, and of course that's what we're trying to build up. I guess we'll just try to play it out and see how things go. Alright guys, that's the end of our turn. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next turn.